Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 4 vs 4 on Carpiquet, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 21st Panzer Division after previously bringing out the battle group overview for the division. So in this one I just plan to show how I use the different units that I basically showed off in the battle group overview, and I know that my 21st Panzer Division is a little bit quirky, so we'll be trying to make use of the majority of the units in this replay. So let's put it to my point of view, and we'll see that on the far left we're going to have Pug Viking, who's going to be pushing up with his 716th Division. We're going to have Betz on my left, who's going to be taking the town with the 91st Luftlander. And on my right I have Salt, who's going to be using the 12th SS Panzer. We're playing against a range of allied divisions, the 2nd Armoured, Guards Armoured, 3rd Armoured, and the 6th Airborne. So we were pretty likely to see the 6th Airborne go into the town, and that's what Betz will have to be up against, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be up against just yet, so proceeding cautiously here. You can see at the beginning I actually had a few units heading up this road. I actually tell a few of them to change and go towards this bunker complex because Salt was actually sending his own units up there. So yeah, I decided to just focus on the right side of the airfield entirely rather than this expanse of land on the right side that Salt seems to have locked down with his multiple AT guns. So I do have a pack 43 at the start. This is moving into these trees. From this tree here you get really nice line of sight through some of the hangars there, and also just onto the airfield in general, so covers that quite nicely. And I've also got a 223 coming with that just to provide the extra command there. And meanwhile, over near the bunkers I've got some spear troop to provide me with recon. I've got the mortar half track that I'm going to be using quite a lot throughout this game. Then I've got some infantry, a couple units of Panzer Grenadiers to take up the bunkers there, alongside a AT gun, an extra AT gun, because this pack 43 quite often gets targeted like a lot at the start of the game, and bringing in a pack 43 is pretty risky because it's a lot of points and a couple bombing strikes will take it out. But if somebody's investing in a lot of planes to destroy it early on, then they won't have so much on the ground, and you can kind of take advantage of that maybe. But Panzer Grenadiers there getting into the bunker just in time. The U304, I was pretty safe pushing the U304 towards the Humber Mark III, but as soon as the Cromwell gets involved you've got to be very careful. So as you can see here, as soon as the Cromwell starts firing at my U304, I get the Panzer Grenadiers out just to make sure that I don't lose them for free. They've got some spear troop moving out to the right field here, just to keep an eye on this road in case any flanking sort of maneuvers come in. But for now, just sort of clumped up here with the majority of my units. The thing is with the 21st Panzer, their infantry and so on cost quite a lot, so you often end up spending quite a lot on your infantry early on, and therefore you don't have many units on the ground. But either way, a couple units of Panzer Grenadiers here. Pack 38 takes out a half track. I'm smoking this off so I can get the Panzer Grenadiers some cover, and also so that I can move them up into the bunker eventually. Pack 43 though is getting line of sight onto the Cromwell, and boom. And that's very much thanks to the 1-star veterancy there. So that's got great line of sight just to the right side of that hangar, so if the Cromwell comes too far then it will take a shot. Here we're going to be seeing the Cromwell 6 hit the Pack 38, and this is what I was talking about. Spitfire Mark 9 coming in with the bombs, going to be targeting the Pack 43. So takes it down to 3 health, needs 2 strikes really to take it out. But so far they've done quite a lot of damage to my AT. So this is pinned down. My Pack 38 on the right side just got taken out by the Cromwell 6 after it missed like 4 shots in a row. And yeah, we're not looking too good. But I'm continuing to mortar the Cromwell 6 just so it's forced to fall back in the meantime. 223 is going to engage the M5 half-track there, and I do have some Panzer Grenadiers just going to push across the airfield, take back some ground here, and see how far we can go with those. Now on this left side, I know that Betz was having a little bit of trouble with his ersatz versus the elite troops of the 6th Airborne, which is to be expected. Bolshevik do a little bit better, but Einsatztruppen definitely going to get wrecked. We do have my Panzer Grenadiers coming up though to help defend, and basically going to be putting these Panzer Grens into defensive positions to act as a springboard for bets to attack from without having to worry about being pushed back too far. So that's basically what those are for. Meanwhile, I'm bringing up myself a Befehl Panzer 35S. Not the most ideal choice against what I'm up against. The Guards Armoured here with these Cromwells completely outmatch the Panzer 35s. So I just got to be very careful in using them, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much all I have in Phase A in terms of tanks, and I do have some AT, but it's also pretty expensive because it comes in the U304s. U304s were reduced in price, actually. They are only like 10 points now, and I mean, just look at them. They roll along so blimmin' slowly. Like a tractor. It's basically a tractor. But yeah, not ideal. So you're not really getting any bang for your buck with these AT guns, and no veterancy either. So it's just a weird combination of forces at the beginning with the 21st Panzer. No veterancy, really high cost. It's not great. But either way, you can make it work, and I think the idea is just to sort of play almost quite defensively in the early phases. Pack 43 moves forward there, takes out the Humber Mark III. So, just engaging some motorised rifles there with the Pack 43 as well, but I'm more worried about taking out the Cromwell 6. They're going to be moving forwards to do just that. Unfortunately missed that shot. And I was hoping to be able to get the Panzer 35s into line of sight at the same time, but wasn't going to happen. Over on this side, my U304s and the Panzer Grenadiers are helping to pin down the airborne troops in the forest. We can't make them surrender because there is an airborne leader there, but pinning them down is pretty decent. Allows Betts to just hammer them with his forces, and my machine guns aren't stopping firing anytime soon. So yeah, just kind of keeping it chill here. I could definitely be under some pressure if they pushed harder. If they got maybe an artillery piece to take on my Pack 43, then I'd literally have like no AT here until these extra AT guns arrived. But yeah, I was just making sure that I had a defensive line anyway. I've got the Befehl Panzer 35S here. That's going to be trying to take on the Cromwell, but unfortunately gets one shot, like I was saying. Completely outmatched. Pack 38 is going to take its chances to have a go at the Cromwell, and misses, of course. We do have it inside the command radius of the 223, so that's helpful, and we do get the weapon damage there, so the Cromwell 5 at least can't really do too much. The Universal Carrier going to be pushing up the road. Me taking a bounce from another Panzer 35S that I had coming up, and the Pack 43 I think gets the kill there. But yeah, another Befehl, or another Panzer 35, not a Befehl Panzer 35, is brought up. The main reason I did this was to accompany the original one I had, but now that the original one's gone, I've just got to be really careful. Now bombing strike coming in for the Pack 38. I'm going to start to move the AT guns forwards, and fortunately the Spitfire just about misses. Doesn't do any damage to the Pack 43, only 2 health gone from the Pack 38. Now, the reason you push the Pack 38 forwards is, well, you push them whichever way they're facing, because it takes them quite a long time to turn the gun around and then walk in a certain direction. So you're always better off if you've got a bombing strike coming in, pushing the AT gun the location it's towards the location it's facing, just because it will then pick up the gun and move it faster, and you can sometimes dodge the bombing strikes. You just got to be very quick there and be very aware of the enemy planes coming in. At the moment though, +1 on the board. Over on our right side we do have Salt doing very well with his Boyd Firefly against the 3rd Armoured player, and also in the airfield here we've got the U304 causing a bit of a salient, which is nice. I've got some Panzer Grens just on return fire in the middle of the airfield to provide some presence there. Bit of an expensive move, but holds the front line, so more than worth it in my opinion. Pack 38 having a go at the Cromwell 6, just constantly missing as usual. No luck involved. with these shots, even there, a bounce. I mean, this has got 10 AP, so it's probably about 46% chance to penetrate or something like that. But still, just the fact that they kept missing was just kind of annoying. Pack 38 there going to be wrecking the Cromwell 6 as it comes into line of sight, which was really nice. Going to bail that out and then blow it up. Fantastic. Cromwell 5 was brought over to the airfield to take care of the U-304, so going to have to move that out of the way. But, well, it's dead now, so don't have to worry about that anymore. Panzer Grenadiers and the U-304s in the town are slowly moving up, and providing like a backup line here for Betz. You can see that since they made the Fallschirmjägers fall back, they're now attacking my Panzer Grenadiers directly. This isn't ideal for my Panzer Grenadiers, but I mean, it gives Betz some time to play around that. I'm not too concerned. Here we have the Panzer 35S's all coming up. We've just moved into Phase B. I have access to some of my better artillery, which can really be used to make some stuff happen. Panzer Grenadiers finally go down there to the airborne units. We also have some Tetrox coming up now as well, so that's going to take out my U-304. Going to be getting a bombing strike in there. Focke-Wulf 190G1 lands a bombing strike onto the 6-pounder and takes it down to 1 health. Ideally I would have killed that off, but didn't quite work out the way I planned. Cromwell 5 going to be destroyed there by the Pack 43. This Pack 43 has paid itself off now. I was always waiting for a bombing strike to come in and hit that, but didn't seem like that was the case. But what I'm going to do here, use the triple Panzer 35s to try and go for the Cromwell 5. What I completely disrespected was the fact that they do use motorized rifles in the Guards Armoured, and well, he hits 2 out of 2 Piats, which is a first if I've ever seen one. Whenever I use Piats they always miss, but apparently his motorized rifles are on point today and hit both of those Piats onto the Panzer 35s. So there you go. All of my Panzer 35s go down, last one to the 6-pounder. Spitfire Mark 9 comes in, and I mean, I'm not trying to justify that play by any means, but yeah, I think at this point I was getting a little bit bored of just sort of sitting here and being defensive, so I just decided to try and make a play of it, and it really just didn't work out. I mean, look at it. That's just a sad sight to see. It's also a pretty cool thumbnail. Look at that. But either way, on our right flank, unfortunately there was a bit of a connection issue during the game, so I think MacArthur like surrendered or something, and it kind of bugged out the game. Then Salt was forced to leave to let the game continue, so yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, but Salt here, the AI will take over now and continue to push onto the 3rd Armoured, which is now also an AI, so I was content that that was okay on the right side there, and I just left the AI to go at it whilst we continued to play against players on the left side of the map. You can see as enemy troops come through here, U-304 is opening up still. Plenty of machine guns from Betz here, plenty of MG34s, and you've got the Grenadiers with their MG34s as well, peppering the airborne paras. Ideally here what should happen is Betz uses the maximum range against the airborne paras, because they only have the Airfield and the Bren at that range, which is 4 HE, but what he's doing here is moving into the 100-meter range, which gives them the actual 14 HE, which demolishes his squads. So yeah, Panzer Grenadier is going to die out very quickly there. Either way, 257 is coming up. I'm trying to get this into a position that's in range to start to mortar the 6-pounder there. And currently my opponent is being pretty passive throughout the game so far. He does have like a lot of tanks, for example, like the Firefly and the Cromwell. I just don't think that he had necessarily the recon to see what he was up against properly, like in terms of AT. So yeah, and you can see actually what I'm doing here. This is a good point. I've got the Pack 38. I'm keeping it behind the tree line, just so that whenever I need it, I can push it up into the tree line. But it won't be preemptively spotted by recon by having it in the tree line already. Because most people what they do is they put their AT guns, for example, let's just take this this area here, forest. You put it in the edge over here, right? But do you need it there? I mean, yeah, maybe for maximum range engagements, but ideally what you should do is have it a little bit further back. And you can see here that the line of sight is completely different to having it a bit further forwards. So what you can do is, like a recon squad looking towards this forest won't see your AT gun if it's like here, but it will see it if it's here. And that means that your enemy may move forwards thinking that there's nothing there, then you can move the AT gun forwards and ambush them. It's a pretty nice tip. In this case you can't really avoid it because your Pack 43 is like, or in this case just on the edge of every tree line, so if there's a recon on this field somewhere it's going to get spotted eventually. But this one, for example, you know, any recon on the left side of this tree line won't see this Pack 38. Now I do have a couple more Pack 43s coming up, just because he is amassing tanks and I just want to create a deterrent. Initially for my springboard, I'm looking for the Phase C King Tiger push at this point. So just kind of waiting for that, playing very defensively on my side of things. Assault's going to be pushing up, or the AI is going to be pushing up with Whitman. Assault messaged me after the game and was like, he was pretty sad because Whitman had just come up and he wanted to have a good game with Whitman, but unfortunately didn't get a chance to control him personally. Spitfire Mark 9 going to be coming in there, taking out a Pack 38. And I'm going to be using the Focke-Wulf 190 to bomb out the 6-pounder. But the Tempest there are going to be coming in and shooting down my Focke-Wulf. I do have 2 Flak 36s on the field now to stop these Spitfire bombing strikes. Pack 43 here does manage to get the kill onto one of the Cromwells there, which was nice. So yeah, Flak 36s are ready to go. Off map has been brought in though, and you saw that briefly hit the Pack 43. I started moving back the Pack 43 really preemptively actually. As soon as I saw that Sherman OP come in, I moved the Pack 43 back immediately, and I managed to avoid the off map strike. I knew that it would be like in that position. It was quite predictable in the end. But yeah, Flak 36 is now available. Allows me to use some Air Force in conjunction with that to stop his Spitfire bombing strikes, and I've also got a Lorraine coming in now, so I just want to use the Lorraine to possibly dislodge the Sherman 5, and by doing so I'll be able to take it out with one of the Pack 43s. But off map now comes in onto this Pack 43 that was revealed by firing at the motorized rifles there. So going to be losing that, unfortunately. This off map doing wonders for my opponent at the moment. Meanwhile in the town, the attrition is real. Artillery coming in from both sides, fire support coming in from both sides. See, Betz is using the BEO Schwim here with the 210mm off map, and just using that to whittle down the elite troops of the 6th Airborne. Good thing about the 91st Luftlander is they have tons of availability, so he's not going to be running out of troops anytime soon, especially with like the ersatz spam. There we go, Pack 43 getting on target to a Humber Mark 3, pushing across the field there. We do see the Sherman 5 moving forwards again, and the Spitfire Mark 9 coming up, but I'm hoping I'm able to make this fall back, and as you can see I am successful. So Spitfire Mark 9 not gonna be bombing anything today or ever again after I bring in the Focke-Wulf 190 A8 with the 2-star veterancy to shoot it down as well. So that worked out quite nicely. Exactly what I was saying might happen did happen, right on cue, which was good. But either way, more Panzergrens coming up. These are just to provide me with some more infantry substance on the front line that I can push from once I bring in my King Tiger in Phase C, and I will be like pretty much saving a little bit of points here and there in order to gain the King Tiger as soon as I move into Phase C, because I think that's basically where the unit is most effective, like the King Tiger. And here comes the last off-map strike. Didn't really take out too much, and I do just about manage to make the Sherman 5 fall back, but there's no AT gun on this top side now, otherwise I would have got line of sight onto it and been able to kill it. Not that it would have mattered now that all of the strikes are used up. Mosquito Pathfinder comes in, that's going to be napalming Betts' Pack 36, and that's going to be burnt out very quickly. The Volksjäger's there, also set alight, but managed to get out just in time. Grenadiers are going to be surrendering to the airborne paras, but airborne paras out in the open still take a lot of damage, and the Grenadiers there going to be able to do quite a lot until they're forced to fall back under the overwhelming amount of machine gun fire. So just using my Lorraine here to try and take out soft targets like this Bedford supply truck. The 27 HE here means that if I land on target at all, it does a lot of damage. There, probably should have got the kill, but not quite. I've also got this Ryanwerfer here, and those are fantastic for dislodging like enemy tanks. So you saw me use it onto the Sherman 5 OP there. Just the sheer amount of HE that lands around a tank just like instant stuns it, especially Shermans, and allows you to dislodge them for your Pack 43s. But incoming artillery now, going to be seeing the Pack 43 come under fire, and I think I did try and move that after I realised it was being shot at. Yeah, you can see me starting to fall it back, but just a little bit too late there. Ideally what I should have done is seen that coming earlier and moved it straight away so that the shot that killed it didn't. Either way, Pack 38 on the right side takes out another half track, and these motorised rifles are left on the road. Going to be hitting those with the mortar as long as they remain pinned down. And I've also got the Lorraine moving over as well. 223s coming up to assist the Pack 43, and here comes the King Tiger. So 1 minute into phase C and the King Tiger coming out, and this is basically all I need to take on the Fireflies, the Shermans, basically anything that the Guards Armoured can throw at me. Even 17 pounders can be taken out by the King Tiger quite easily, as long as you're showing front armour. So that's what I'm waiting on now. I've created my springboard. The line of Panzer Grenadiers ready to charge up. I've got the Pack 43. I've remained defensive enough. And, well, the AIs continue to do a fine job on this right side, which has helped us out. On the left side, I do lose one of my Focke-Wulf 190s to a Tempest. We had a small air engagement there. I brought in a bomber, I think, as well. And that got shot down. And then I brought in the Focke-Wulf 190 to take on the Tempest. But Tempest manages to win out that time round with the help of enemy AA over on that side of the map. Panzer 4C now here and ready to help out with the engagement onto the units in the town. I really like the Panzer 4C. It works a lot better in like close quarters hedgerow combat. I find that's quite an odd thing about the 21st Panzer. A lot of people assume that they are good in like open ground, and they are in some ways because they have Pack 43s, but in most cases I would say that the 21st Panzer actually suits sort of medium range warfare, like 500 to like 800 meter range warfare a lot better because of its artillery range. Like for example, the Ryanwerfer is only 1,200 meters. Same with like the normal mortar carrier. The Lorraine's like 1,600, for example. So having like the range is like a little bit shorter is ideal. Also, the Panzer 4s and the Befehl Panzer 35S and the Panzer 35S work really well in that range as well, because they can actually penetrate things like Stuarts and Shermans and Cromwells. Well, maybe not Shermans, but definitely Cromwells. Like if that was like a 800 meter engagement, for example, around this hangar, moving those Panzer 35s up here and engaging the Cromwell that was like here at like 600 meter range is ideal for those Befehl Panzer 35Ss, because they sort of boast about 9 to 10 AP power. But here comes the King Tiger, going to be hitting the Sherman 5, one shot bailed out, and second shot just finishes it off. Going to have to be a little bit careful about this. I've got it just accompanied by a 223 at the moment, and I've just dropped out some speed troop, and they're going to spot out the recon squad on the field that was spotting my Pack 43s, so that gets rid of the artillery targeting. There is a 17 pounder that has been brought up, so I have to be a little bit worried about that, but fortunately the King Tiger just really accurate with 3-star veterancy, and also has plenty of front armor to take that on. P-38 Lightning going to be coming in with the rocket strike. Doesn't quite pin down the Königstiger, and I managed to finish off the 17 pounder there. Typhoon AT is brought in as well, and since that does force my Königstiger to fall back, I'm going to be smoking the King Tiger off with the Rheinwerfer. Because basically what you don't want to happen is your King Tiger to be forced to fall back and then have it side-shotted. So by just smoking it with a Rheinwerfer, for example, you kind of cover all angles, and in this case it worked out quite nicely. Able to continue to push up the King Tiger, actually targeting the Firefly, so that when I come out of the smoke there, we get a shot straight on it. So the King Tiger here, one thing to note with like most things is that with any sort of unit, if you target an enemy unit that's out of your line of sight, your turret will rotate towards it. So when you like move around a corner or something, your turret should already be on target unless your tank like rotates. So that's something to be aware of, and you can see there the King Tiger took no time at all to aim and take the shot because it was already aimed at the Firefly before it came out of the smoke. It works the best with smoke, honestly, and the Königstiger there taking on the 17 pounder, 2 shots already hit. Third shot, boom, second King Tiger, or second 17 pounder destroyed. Now making the ground push on the right side by taking out a lot of their tanks here. And what I'm able to do is put the infantry pressure onto these hangars. So using the Rheinwerfer there, the mortar, along with the Lorraine and the 257, they were all basically targeting different hangars. And that allows me to push the Panzer Grenadiers quite aggressively across the open. And any sort of motorized rifles I come across, I'm just going to start hitting them with the mortars here, as you can see. So Panzer, the Lorraine here is hitting the right side hangar, and I've got the mortar hitting the middle hangar, and then the left one's just being hit by machine guns and the Pak-43, so that's fine by me. Königstiger's moving over to the left side to assist with taking out the 17 pounder there, but that's already in flames because it got bombed out, or rocketed, sorry, by Betz's ME-109, which was really nice, but shot down by the Tempest, unfortunately. Pak-43 continuing its assistance there, but we're being hit by these Sextons now, which is not ideal. But the Königstiger is slowly moving up. I've also got my mortar fire coming in just to pin down all the forces in the upcoming hangars. And the Crusader AA Mark II does do quite a lot of damage to one of my Panzer Grenadiers, but that's fine. Going to be surrendering another unit there. Going to use my Lorraine and the mortar to take out this Vickers HMG that was holding some ground just there. And here comes the Panzer Force. So got a Königstiger on the field. Just going to be backing it up with some Panzer IVs now. Another plane is going to be coming in, this time a Mosquito, going for the bombing strike onto the Flak 88. I brought in the Flak 88 ahead of the Königstiger, just to sort of draw some fire, and also just provide its own fire onto the enemy forces. Königstiger's a little bit high on morale damage at the moment, so I have to be a bit worried. But I do have the Rheinwerfer moving up here. I'm just trying to get the Rheinwerfer to target these Sextons and force them to fall back. I'm going to be trying to take out as many half-tracks as I can in the process here as well, just so that my Panzer Grenadiers can move up unimpeded. But you can see this sort of springboard has worked quite nicely. With the King Tiger coming up, just allows me to penetrate through this line, take on the heavier tanks that my opponent is presenting, and make a lot of ground. So at this point the Guards armor is just having a really hard time. Ideally he wants to be using something like a Typhoon AT or something to really stun it out and then pick it off with another unit. But that Typhoon AT, they're going to be forced to fall back thanks to my AA. Mosquito Pathfinder though going to be napalming this Flak 41 on the airfield there, which isn't ideal. So yeah, 2 Flak 88s allows me to basically one-shot pin back or pin down and force fall back the Typhoon ATs. So that's worked out so far. Königsegg is able to continue to move forwards, but if one of those Typhoon ATs gets through and I'm too far up with the Königsegg, you can lose it very easily to the side shot. Really nice Rheinwerfer strike here. Going to be pinning down all that infantry plus the half tracks there. Also, this Panzer Grenadier did a great job, managed to move forwards. It Panzerfausted this half track by the hangar, then managed to get into this hangar and actually take out the Crusader AA Mark II that was on the other side. And these are like completely unvetted squads of Panzer Grenadiers, but just because I have such good sort of fire support, I guess, they can get up into those buildings with relative ease. The Flak 36s have moved up slightly, caused the first Typhoon AT there to be pretty inaccurate, but here comes another one. They're going to be hitting that very hard. It's just time to get another Rheinwerfer strike onto the motorized rifles. I'm not too concerned that my Königsegg is in range of anything, really. So just letting it fall back for now. Gonna smoke it off just in case any more Typhoon ATs come in. Here comes the triple Panzer combo, Panzer IV combo. Sometimes you bring this out in Phase B. Didn't really find the need in this game because they were using Fireflies and the Fireflies have 1,200 meter range. And I've also got a couple of Panzergrens coming up. These Panzer IVGs, they're 14 AP power with 3-star veterancy, very accurate. Going to be taking on the Crocodile there. Crocodile is just a little bit too armoured. But we are going to be seeing, like the Panzer IVG there, for example, take on that Firefly quite convincingly. The Firefly got too close, like way too close. Kind of paid the price, but Panzer Grenadiers dropped out on the airfield, going to be making a run across. I've got a couple more Panzer Grenadiers here that kind of forgot about for a little bit. But yeah, making a lot of ground now, and also in the town, Betz is starting to break the back of his opponent as the 6th Airborne starts to run low on availability. He's really been winning that war of attrition with all of the artillery fire going on. But here we see another 17-pounder sneaking up. Got to keep an eye on that because I don't want that to take out the Königsegg, of course. You can see, not entirely sure what pinned down that 17-pounder. I'm pretty sure it was like a Flak 88 shot. Hit the Tempest as it was really low and actually pinned down the units on the ground, which was odd. Unless it was the Königsegg missing the M5 half-track, that might have been it as well. But either way, Befehl Panzer IVs plus the Panzer IVGs continuing to push up. This isn't ideal. I probably shouldn't have them all this close. So you can see I'm actually starting to spread them out a bit now. But it was working. It was pushing back the Crocodile and the Firefly, allowing my infantry to just freely walk forwards, and well, the King Tiger comes in and finishes off the Firefly, so that's job done there. Now Firefly, just another kill added to the list of this Königsegg, and the Königsegg just seriously doing a great job. So yeah, as you can see, just a bunch of Panzer Grenadiers pushing forwards, taking the hangars as we go. Panzer IVG was taken out there by a Firefly, 1,200 meter range, not much I could do about that. Ideally, I wouldn't be using the Panzer IVs in this scenario. Again, like I was saying before, the 21st Panzer doesn't really work well at 1,200 meter range unless you can really play around your King Tiger. Because anything with 1,200 meter range can actually demolish this division quite easily. But here we have smoke coming out. Actually, that was just a standard mortar strike onto the 17-pounder that was there, just to make sure that didn't ambush my Königsegg. But I am going to be putting some smoke on top of the Panzer Grenadiers, just to help them actually like secure their position in this tree line. And it also means that the 17-pounder won't be safe moving into that tree line. So on this right side, Lorraine's still helping out. Going to be just hitting where the infantry were. 257 was mortaring out the motorized rifles. Königsegg finished off the Churchill there, and we're going to be attacking the Achilles, taking that out. 3-star Königstiger, you can't go wrong. Really, really works out nicely, especially if you protect it well. My Rheinwerfer here used up all of its ammunition through this game. Look at that, 96 mortar rounds and 48 smoke rounds. This allows us to get into such a good position with some of these units. Panzer Grenadier there, able to basically pin down the motorized rifles as soon as they're dropped out, honestly. And yeah, just bring back the Rheinwerfer. Gonna just stop that in the range of my Opel Blitz munition. I've also got the AI trying to supply that as well, as you can see, which is interesting. Yeah, the Königstiger getting into a really nice position here. Just got to be very careful of any like 17-pounder flanks. And then I can just continue to push it forwards. And so far, I mean, this has taken an absolute beating, as you can see. It's not an unscathed Königstiger. But it's done the job, that's for sure. Penetrated through the middle of the airfield quite nicely. This is a classic 21st Panzer Phase C game, honestly. Bringing in the King Tiger late on and really doing the damage. And here we can see 2 of the Jeep supplies actually blowing up, pinning down the M1 howitzers that Weiss was using. Off map, hitting those very hard. And as you can see, well, yeah, Weiss is trying to use his recon to take on Betz at the moment, and that's definitely not working. And there's plenty of Flak 36s about as well now, so they're able to pin down the enemy Mosquito there. Königstiger is getting quite far up now. Probably should have been continuing to bring up the Flak 36s with it, just so that I could prevent any like accurate Typhoon AT strikes. But at the moment, what I've got is a couple of Boyd Shermans following up. These are just to provide some substance behind the Königstiger to continue pushing forwards and provide the fire support for the Panzer Grenadiers against more soft targets, whilst the King Tiger takes out the harder targets like the Fireflies and the Achilles and so on.
Don't shoot.
Finally moving forwards my troops in the town, just to help out with Betz's push here. We are on a +3, 65% territory. We do pin down one of the Typhoon ATs, but this one comes in, finally hits the mark, is going to get shot down in reply. But a side shot there with the Typhoon AT getting on target really did the job. And yeah, King Tigers aren't invulnerable. Get the right shot off and it works out. Mosquito coming in there with the bombing strike does just about manage to get some bombs onto the Flak 36, but only going to pin it down for now. Have the Focke-Wulf come in to try and hit that Mosquito as well, but that gets shot down by the Flak 36. These 2-star Flak 36s are actually quite lethal these days. Still got a Flak 41 on the airfield, and that manages to weapon damage the Achilles there, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can just push really hard with these 1,000 meter range units, but coming close to the end of the game now. 30 seconds left. Got HS-129 takes out the Achilles. Tempest is going to be forced to fall back. Mosquito's coming over to try and go for the gun run onto the HS-129. Also got another Tempest coming in. Mosquito forced to fall back. Tempest just shoots down the HS-129. 10 seconds left on the clock. And here goes our push with the tanks here. Boyd Sherman, Panzer IV with the command. Another Panzer IV there, all focusing that 17-pounder. But after 38 minutes and 13 seconds, that is victory. And we did relatively well in that one. 3,426 kills to 1,740 losses. Yeah, Betz managed to pull through in the end in the town. And the AI picking up where Salt left off quite nicely on the right side to continue his push there, and Pug on the far left also doing very nice with the 3,806 kills to 2,925 losses. So that was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. I think Weiss, he just ran out of availability on his infantry, especially against the 91st Luftlander, can just go for days with those infantry. The Guards Armoured just didn't have anything really to deal with the Königsdäger in the later phase, other than the Typhoon ATs, and unfortunately Typhoon ATs are unreliable at best. So yeah, that didn't work out so well, and Wabbit on the right side, or actually I think Wabbit was on the left side, he did okay. He definitely got plenty of kills there, so that was nice to see. But let's have a look at the kill tab, because this is where it's really funny. Pack 43 at the start, that got plenty of kills, plenty of Cromwells, Cromwell 6, Cromwell 4, and a Cromwell 7 at the start. That paid itself off quite nicely. My Befehl Panzer 35S and the other Panzer 35Ss, my god, that was just like the most stupid play. So just don't do that. As for this Königsdäger, however, basically supporting it correctly can definitely net a lot of kills, as you can see. What's that? A Sherman 5, 17 pound, 2 17-pounders. We got 3 Fireflies in there, an Achilles. We got the Sexton. We got the Cromwell 5. I just don't think they expected me to like fast move that across the airfield, but I felt like I was pretty safe to do so, and I had relatively nice recon throughout that game. It probably could have been a little bit better over the airfield, but I had some spear troop mixed about, and in the end I didn't really need it in order to get all of these kills. So yeah, that worked out quite nicely, and then after the King Tiger arrived, well, that's when the rest of my forces start to kick in. I managed to move forward the Panzer Grenadiers, take out all of the motorized rifles that were defending, and my boy Sherman towards the end took out a Sexton, the second Sexton. So yeah, really fun game. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did too. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.